Okay, let's dive right into this. Picture this. It's moving day in Sacramento. The boxes are piled literally to the ceiling. You're completely exhausted, and you go to turn on the tap for a much-needed glass of water, and nothing happens, right? Setting up your utility services might just seem like another mundane administrative task to check off your list, but getting it right is absolutely crucial. It's the difference between a seamless move and a massive, frustrating, localized service interruption. So in today's explainer, we're going to completely demystify the process of establishing water service in the Sacramento area, making sure your transition is flawlessly smooth. First things first, I want to immediately shatter a very common myth for anyone moving to this region. A lot of folks just assume there's one single Sacramento Water Authority that handles the whole shebang for the entire county. But honestly, here's the surprising fact. There are actually over 20 individual water purveyors operating in Sacramento County. No way, right? Over 20 distinct entities? We're talking everything from city departments to private companies, and each one has its own geographical boundaries, unique billing systems, and specific set of rules. So here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll navigate the Sacramento water maze. Second, we'll walk through a step-by-step setup guide. Third, we're looking at fees and account management. Fourth, common pitfalls to avoid. And we'll wrap up with conservation and cost savings. All right, moving right into part one, the Sacramento water maze. Let's decode these purveyors. You see, the sheer variety of providers brilliantly illustrates why assuming there's only one is a huge mistake. Sacramento's water is managed by vastly different types of organizations. Getting it wrong doesn't just mean a quick, oops, let me call the right number. Oh no, it can result in massive administrative delays, missed billing cycles, or even a complete shutoff right when you need water the most. On one side, you've got municipal governments and public special districts. Think the City of Sacramento Department of Utilities or the Sacramento Suburban Water District. On the other hand, you've got investor-owned utilities like California American Water. These investor-owned guys are actually regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission, or the CPUC. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means their tariffs, their rules, and their setup procedures can be entirely different from the municipal ones. Let's jump to part two, our step-by-step setup guide. It's a highly practical four-phase process. To bypass those administrative headaches, we're going to follow this sequential, rigid four-phase pathway. Step one is the geographic audit, finding out who actually serves your home. Step two is document compilation, basically getting your proof of residence together. Step three is the activation submission. And finally, step four is credit and deposit resolution. Sticking to this exact structured pathway really minimizes the risk of compliance failures and guarantees your billing account matches your physical occupancy perfectly. Okay, so phase one is all about research. Your absolute best friend here is the Sacramento County GIS Purveyor Lookup Tool. Since your water service is entirely dictated by precise geographical coordinates, you literally can't just guess based on your zip code. You have to punch in your physical street address or your APN, that's your assessor's parcel number, a unique ID from the county tax assessor, into this centralized database. Hit search, and the tool instantly identifies exactly which of those 20-plus purveyors is responsible for your new front door. Once you've nailed down your provider and grabbed your ID and lease for phase two, we move to phase three, activation. Now, timing here is absolutely critical. Let's say you're a renter dealing with California American Water. You actually have to request activation at least 3 business days before you move in. Dealing with the City of Sacramento, or SSWD, their manual setup usually takes about 2 business days. But here's a neat twist. If you're a new home buyer, it's pretty much an automated process. When your sale closes, the recorded deed is transmitted automatically. Your water won't get shut off, but just a heads up, it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks for that very first combined utility invoice to finally show up in your name. Let's move to section 3, fees and account management. Let's see how these costs actually build up. Setting up a new account isn't just turning a valve. It's about taking on financial responsibility. Now, what's really interesting here is the wild variety in cost structures depending purely on where your house sits. For a standard meter, the City of Sacramento charges a base fee of $35.72, but the Sacramento Suburban Water District charges $39.04. And the volumetric rates, those differ too. The city charges a flat $1.46 per 100 cubic feet, while SSWD uses a tiered pricing model that jumps up the more water you use. Also, you really want to watch out for penalty fees. If a payment bounces at the Sacramento County Water Agency, you are looking at a brutal $53 return fee. Which naturally brings us to phase 4, credit and deposits. It's super important to budget for an initial security deposit when you're setting up. For example, if you happen to border into the adjacent municipality of West Sacramento, you're going to have to put down a flat $100 security deposit for metered accounts during setup. Now, some other providers might actually waive that deposit if you can show a utility credit letter, proving you've been in good standing, but honestly, it's always best to have the funds ready to go just in case. So, once the financials are squared away, you'll want to manage your account without tearing your hair out. Luckily, these providers offer some really solid online tools. California American Water customers get the My Water portal, which is great because it actually eliminates transaction fees. Sacramento County uses CUBS, the Consolidated Utilities Billing System, and SSWD uses the True CAP portal. Setting yourself up on these platforms is a total game changer. It lets you monitor your daily usage, catch sneaky leaks before they become disasters, and easily automate your monthly payments. Moving right along to Section 4, Common Pitfalls to Avoid. Let's dodge those frustrating administrative hurdles. Even with a flawless setup, things can sometimes go sideways. The absolute biggest, most expensive pitfall, ignoring a bill and letting your service get disconnected. The financial penalties are frankly severe. Take Golden State Water Company, for instance. If they disconnect you for non-payment, you don't just pay your past due balance. Nope. To reestablish credit, they hit you with a deposit equal to twice your average bill, plus a reconnection fee that ranges from $45 during regular hours, all the way up to $130 if you need it turned back on after hours. Honestly, setting up autopay in those portals we just talked about is a total lifesaver here. And hey, if you're a business owner, the crucial point is this. The rules are totally different for you. You absolutely cannot rely on those automated deed transfers that residential home buyers get to enjoy. If you're a commercial tenant, you have to actively reach out to your specific district, like literally emailing SSWD directly to verify that you are in strict compliance with backflow prevention and commercial metering regulations before they'll even think about establishing an account in your business's name. Whatever you do, do not skip this step. Section 5. Conservation and Cost Savings. Let's talk about keeping those new bills nice and low. All right, so you've set up your water, you know all the fees, so how do you actually keep those bills from skyrocketing? Well, Sacramento providers actually offer some incredible resources and incentives. You can schedule water-wise house calls where actual experts come out and evaluate your home's water efficiency. There are also some super generous rebates if you upgrade to water-saving appliances or switch out your lawn for a water-efficient landscape. Notice a broken sprinkler flooding the street? You can use the water waste reporting tool to let them know. Plus, conservation really is a community-wide effort. Providers even team up with local youth programs like the 4-H Water Wizards. It's this awesome 12-week science project that teaches kids about watersheds and why saving water is so critical for our future. So, as you tape up those moving boxes and prep for your big Sacramento transition, keep this setup guide in your back pocket. Remember, step 1, find your specific provider. Follow the 4-phase setup process, use the GIS tool, and make sure your moving day flows without a single hitch. As we wrap up this explainer, I need to remind you that while we've done our absolute best to make this guide comprehensive, you should always double-check the specific details directly with your local provider, just to account for any recent rule changes or personal circumstances. With water resources becoming increasingly precious here in California, I want to leave you with this final thought. How much could you potentially save on your very first utility bill just by mastering these few simple steps today? Get set up right, save some water, and here is to a smooth, water-wise transition to your new home.